It is 6:04 this morning. Families in Uvalde will begin saying goodbye to the victims of Tuesday's school massacre.
Yeah, this comes after the President and First Lady's emotional visit and the announcement that the federal government will review the police response. This morning we have team coverage with Stephanie Whitfield here in Houston and Aniele Ruiz in Uvalde. Aniele, we'll start with you.
Most people we spoke with say they're happy the president came, but they hope that this brings change to prevent this from happening again. An emotional visit from President Joe Biden and the First Lady. They both flew into San Antonio early Sunday morning and then arrived in Uvalde. Their first stop was a memorial site at Robb Elementary School. They brought flowers for the victims and each taking their time to look at every single one of the faces of the 21 people that were murdered here. The First Lady even reaching out and laying her hands on the pictures. Uvalde residents showed up not just to get a glimpse of the two, but also yelling and pleading the president help them.
Under constant attack in this community, we need help. Every week we're living fear.
After they greeted local and state officials, the Bidens attended a mass at a local church with the Archbishop. You can see the President Biden and the First Lady sitting in the front row. The church, a packed house. Children were brought up to sit at the front near the altar. And outside, a crowd greeting the Bidens again. This time, chants could be heard. Residents asking the president to help. You can see President Biden responding, saying, "We will, we will." The Bidens then made their way to the Uvalde County Fairplex to meet with the families behind closed doors. Family members who were inside shared these pictures with us. The uncle of Jacqueline Casares said the Bidens spoke to everyone.
He went to each table individually, and they both gave their deepest condolences.
He's very compassionate.
Very compassionate man.
The father of one victim, Leila Salazar, they told us it was an emotional meeting.
He listened to everything, and we listened to him. He shed some tears, we shed some tears.
In the end, the president spent nearly 3 hours speaking with families.
Really just all about my daughter, you know what I mean? That's all we talked about. And, like I said, they were very gracious. They showed compassion. And that's all we were here for.
According to the schedule from the White House, the Bidens also met with first responders. And starting today begins a new phase in this tragedy. The visitation will begin for 10-year-old Anne-Marie Jo Garza. In Uvalde, Aniele Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
Aniele, thanks. And as she just mentioned, this is a new phase in the grieving process for Uvalde.
Today are the first visitations for 2 of the 21 victims. First, Anne-Marie Jo Garza, who Aniele mentioned. Her visitation starts at noon and goes until 9 p.m. Her rosary is also today at 7 p.m. and her funeral mass is scheduled for tomorrow at 2.
The other visitation today is for Mady Rodriguez. Her visitation is from 2 to 7 with her rosary scheduled for 7 o'clock. Her prayer service will be held tomorrow.
Tomorrow, visitations are also scheduled for Irma Linda Garcia, Nevaeh Alyssa Bravo, and Jose Flores. We have more information about their services on KHOU.com. The anguish of saying goodbye is compounded by the fact that these families of the victims still don't even know everything that went on last week.
Yeah, the Department of Justice does plan to review the initial police response to the shooting. Stephanie Whitfield is live here in Houston with more on that part of the story. Stephanie, the town's mayor actually requested the investigation.
That's right, and he made that request after learning there was an hour-long delay from when the gunman entered the school to when Border Patrol agents killed him. DPS released a minute-by-minute timeline on Friday of what happened, even reading out numerous 911 calls from children who were inside the 2 classrooms targeted last Tuesday. The head of DPS calling that delayed response the wrong decision. Those details shocked and devastated the town of Uvalde all over again, especially the families of the 21 victims.
They let our babies get slaughtered, sacrificed, while their is sitting behind a wall.
In a statement, the DOJ said in part, quote, "The goal of the review is to provide an independent account of law enforcement actions and responses that day, and to identify lessons learned and best practices to help first responders prepare for and respond to active shooter events." It goes on to say the assessment will be fair, transparent, and independent. We're live in Southwest Houston. Stephanie Whitfield, KHOU 11 News.
I'm Adam Bennett. Hundreds of people lined the main street through Uvalde this weekend to welcome President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden. Meanwhile, people from all over the country continue to come here to Uvalde's town square where the main memorial is to pay their respects to those 21 lives lost.
I'm Brittany Ford. Protesters returned to GRB Sunday for the last day of the NRA conference. Among them, the family of an 11-year-old Houston boy who died by gun violence. The mother of Darius DJ Dugas spoke out for the first time since an arrest was made in her son's case. DJ was killed by a stray bullet in front of his Houston apartment complex in early February.
When is enough going to be enough?
Think twice before you pull the trigger. The aim at you might be even